Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful, beautiful guest is Dawn Arsenault. We're going to be talking about taking a leap of faith and leading into your true purpose, or leading with your true purpose. She wants to, tap into the power of the subconscious mind. And she's been worked in the dental industry for a long, long time. It was kind of a family tradition, but at some point it was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go in a different direction. So she tried to go into different areas and just found this path that really, really connects with her. And that's about you connecting with your purpose and taking that leap of faith. Yes, I know it's hard, but if ever there was a good time to do it, it is now, because we are about renewal. We are about taking those leap of faiths, trying out new directions. This is what it's all about at the present moment. So if you are looking at a crossroads, or your particular career at the present time is not going anywhere and you just want to start out on your own and take that leap of faith, this is the lady for you. And come and listen to why she can help you do that. Welcome to the show, Dawn.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Such a pleasure to be here and just listening to your introduction and hearing someone else say my words, it just actually brought shivers down me. So yeah, so excited to be
That's
here.
case in point. When you find a passion for something, then you find the purpose. Right? It's finding a passion for something that will bring you shivers, that will make your heart rise up, even get lumps in the lump in the throat, because that passion will lead you to your meaningful purpose, which will then be of service to others. But what's the passion? And you in the dental business, right? What happened in the dental business that you went, this ain't my passion anymore. I want to redirect.
Yeah, well, we could go on for hours about that, but I will give you kind of a brief history. I started off as a dental assistant going to school for 8 months. I knew it was a good career. I didn't have to spend a ton of money in it. It was already in my family. And so I did that for 11 years. And kind of halfway through my career doing that, I was like, ooh, I didn't like a lot of the things. It didn't sit well. I wasn't treated well. There was lots of drama in the workplace, and I just didn't feel good. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to school. Never thought I would ever go back to school in my early 30s. So I decided I was going to become a dental hygienist. So I didn't have to work knee to knee with dentists and deal with their personalities all day long. And because a dentist is basically like your husband or wife that you're with for 8 hours. So yeah. So not
the marriage without laundry, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so I did that. I did some upgrading, invested in myself, my education, and went through a great program in Halifax. And I just loved it. It was just everything I thought. I graduated at the top of my class. It was so awesome. And I packed up my bags and I headed across the country because I had school debt now. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I wanted to pay it off fast. So that's what I did. I moved from Nova Scotia to Calgary in 2006. And it was pretty early on in my career that I had a hard time fitting in. I'm very outspoken. I speak my truth, and it's not to be mean or anything. It's just, when I see something that just is not ethical, I'll say something. Well, that didn't go over too well. So, Lots of jobs here and there. I've got fired and left some places, and had some friends along the way kind of be my mentors, I guess, and support system, and say, hey, if you're not happy there, you should go. Like,
Yeah.
life's too short,
Yeah.
right? And we've all heard our friends and family say that. Hopefully they do, but sometimes we don't put this
Right.
in here, right?
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so then I just knew, after being a dental hygienist for 5 more years. So I was a dental assistant for 11 years. And before I retired in December from dental hygiene, I was in hygiene for 15 years. But I knew 5 years ago I was done.
Right.
But I didn't know what to do.
Mm,
I was like
mm,
at this crossroad, right?
mhm,
Like, I had to support myself, and I didn't have anyone else to support me. So if I didn't make the money on my own to pay my bills, nobody else could help me.
mhm,
And I kept plugging along and doing some work on my own, like all that personal development. I was involved with some network marketing, so that really helped me, because that's kind of a business inside personal growth, and
mhm.
that really helped me. And then literally, I guess, yeah, I moved across the country. I had some awful things happen in my life. My dad passed away 6 years ago now, suddenly, of a massive heart attack. And he was on the other side of the country, and that devastated me because I hadn't spent much time with him in
Mhm.
a long time. Once a year trips, that type of thing. And I don't know, it was like,
The
that's
wake
when
up call.
I think that was when everything shifted.
Mhm.
And I was lost. I was devastated, and some things happened in my life, and I just wasn't I was looking in the mirror, Sarah, and I did not like what I was seeing. I was not happy. And I'm vulnerable. I'm going to get probably a little emotional talking about this, but I just knew that I couldn't keep doing this.
Right.
And so my mom's getting older, so I decided, okay, I'm going to pack up everything and I'm going to move back home. I'm going to go back to Nova Scotia. I'm going to make my life there. And this is going to be my new life. So, because I felt guilty. I felt guilty. I
Mm.
spent 15 years away from my family, lost my dad, and everything else. Well, 7 weeks later, long story short, I was packing up my bags to come back to Calgary because I was miserable
Mhm.
there. And I was so aware, but I didn't know what to do. Again, at a crossroad, had a conversation with a girlfriend, and she said, you need to go back to Calgary. I was like, I think you're right. I had no money saved, nothing. To I literally just packed up my whole life 7 weeks ago and moved across the country, and now I'm having to do it again.
Yes.
But I knew it was the right thing to do. And once I got here, it all changed.
Mhm.
Everything started falling into place for me, people coming into my life, me really realizing I'm I'm in the right place now. I'm not going
Right.
back. I'm not, yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
verification. It makes a difference, the soil. I moved 3 years ago today. I moved from the mainland to, Vancouver Island, into Victoria. And it's normally, I'm itchy feet every 3 years. And I'm at 3 years and I just love living here. It feels my vibe,
Yeah.
my soil. And, people say, oh, yeah, but you should be at peace wherever you are. Yes, absolutely. But taking you in all your abundance and putting it in the right soil just means you're going to grow so much better. So you're being in a place that really, connects your vibe is very
Mhm.
important. One must listen to that.
Absolutely. And it was an expensive way to find that out, I'm going to say. But that's okay. If I didn't go, Sarah,
You
I would have
exactly.
never known.
Yeah.
And I would have always had this in my head. So I went and I came back, and a friend of mine who picked me up at the airport, because I had to ship my car across the country in the middle of winter.
Hmm.
And she said, hey, I'm like, what's new? Da da da. I'm going back to school, taking this part-time course. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's hypnotherapy. I'm like, Oh, that's interesting. Never heard of it. What is it? This was 2 years ago. She told me about it. I was like, oh, I got some stuff to deal with in my brain. I could I could use this, just to take it for my own personal
Right.
reasons, right? We all have this trauma, drama, BS, I say it's
Oh,
in our
yeah.
head, right?
Hmm.
So I'm like, how great I can work. And then on the weekends, it was once a weekend for a month for like 10 months or something like that. I'm like, cool, I can do this. This will help me grow. On the first day, I was like, wow. And the rest is history.
Mm.
I then was like, okay, and I started my hypnotherapy practice, started working with clients, which I loved, but I kept doing my dental job, going into dental 4 days a week. COVID happened.
Hmm.
Oh, COVID. And I, for the
Talk
first
about trauma.
time,
Drama.
right? I, for the first time, had anxiety. That
Hmm.
I've heard about anxiety, and my feeling of anxiety is when you're living in the future and you're not in the present moment. And I really didn't like it. And I was scared to go back to work because of all the risks involved with
Mm.
my profession.
Yes.
With COVID, we're the highest at risk. And so I finally did go back. I was off for almost 4 months and accepted a job, was a little leery. There's a reason why I was leery. And yeah, 6 months after putting up with just trauma, drama in
Hmm.
offices, I just said, I can't do this anymore. I had a client that just kind of tipped me over the edge, and I just said, I can't do this anymore. I need to be happy. It doesn't matter about the paycheck. I
Yeah.
just need to be happy. And I literally went home that night. My boyfriend, I tried to call him. He wasn't available. And I just started writing my resignation letter.
Hmm.
And I was scared and I was nervous, but I felt this huge weight come off me, and this certainty, even though I didn't know what was going to happen,
Yeah.
because it literally was a leap of faith I
Mm.
decided to take. Handed in my resignation letter, said I was retiring. And that day, the next day, or I guess, yeah, I worked for another week, and it was right before Christmas. And I just said, I'm done. And I could not believe how I felt once I made that
Hmm.
decision, and I ingrained that decision in me that no, I am not going back to this. I do not have to go back to this. This is not my true purpose. It just changed everything. I wake up every morning, I work from home, and I help clients in the most optimal way. And it brings me so much joy that I actually want to get up. And I
Yes.
and I'm not dreading dealing with these people that I really don't want to deal with, that are just, when your vibration, okay, I know you know about vibration.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when your vibration is here and you're in a work environment and their vibration is
Yes.
here, what happens?
Static. Yeah. Yeah. It's but everything that you've done was preparing for what you're doing now. Going home to your mum. You knew, love you, mum, but I just can't live here. Going back to Calgary, it's my soil. Okay, while I'm doing this, I will get my bread and butter on the table. But the more negative experience you had with that, the more you understood that where you are going is where you're meant to be. Had you gone into a job where you got on with everyone, then it would be,
Never.
well, it's not
Yeah.
so bad, I'll stay. So it
Mm-hmm.
had to give you a negative experience to propel you forward, right, into your meaningful purpose. And
Yeah.
we're all looking for that meaningful purpose. And if we're not willing to take the journey in life, to take the leap of faith, to explore, we become complacent and make excuses as to why we should stay where we are. Well, it's not that bad, I suppose. It's only 8 hours a day of my soul and heart that I'm giving away. I get a paycheck. It's not really that much, but it puts the roof over my head. And we make excuses for it all the time.
Yeah.
And we're not only doing ourselves a disservice, but we're giving our clientele a disservice because our hearts aren't in it. And if you want to do anything well and you really want to honor your clients, your heart should be in it.
100%, 100%. And that's the thing is, nobody has taken away my profession. I'm still licensed.
Mm-hmm.
So if I need to, I can pick up a few shifts in order to help me. But I keep saying to myself, when I get to those places where I'm like, oh, Dawn, what have you done?
Mm-hmm.
They happen. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
They don't happen every day because it's all about mindset and,
Yeah.
the work that you do. But when it does happen, I'm like, okay, don't go there. Don't go there. With
Mm-hmm.
Abraham, right? You want to go downstream. Keep your thoughts downstream. Don't go upstream. And so I have a career to fall back on. We all do. We can all go back to a job. We can get a job in the meantime. But I have set the intention
Mm-hmm.
that every day I am going to do whatever it takes. And I've never been so determined on anything in my life. Well, actually, that's wrong. I did complete a couple of full Ironman races. So that required a lot of, so I've already had some mental strength training
Mm-hmm.
in the past. So I know that that's kind of helped me come forward. But you have to find your purpose. And all I can say is, I was lost and I didn't know why I was
Right.
lost. I didn't know why I wasn't moving forward, why I was moving forward a little bit and then I would just get smashed in the face again. And I kept attracting the stuff that I didn't
Y-
want. And
No, because that's the vibe. You're in that negative vibe, and what does negative vibe do? It invites the same vibration to you. And that's why you have to
absolutely.
sever the negative vibe and step into something you love. And it's also looking at what are riches. Yes, we need money for the roof over our head, etc., etc. That's very, very important. But when you look at the work that you do as enriching
Mm-hmm.
and as abundant, then what you're telling the universe is that you are rich, you are abundant in everything that you do. Your heart and soul is in it. The results that you have is enriching for other people, and the money will eventually match. But it's been in already that abundant state of being, which isn't just the mind. It's when the soul, heart, spirit, and mind are in unison,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
we talk a great deal about right now, unity, right?
Yes.
What is unity? It's the community of what is around you, but it's the community, commune with yourself on all levels. Your soul is the attachment to the universal wisdom. It cannot speak to a closed heart. When that heart opens up, the soul pours in the knowingness that goes to the spirit into action and opens the mind, ignites the mind in what it needs to know when it needs to know it. If we just live in our heads, which most people do, we're on that yes, but, sit on the butt. That's what the butt's for, right?
Yeah.
And it's, I've got to move forward no matter what. I've got to trust what I'm doing is right, however rocky it is at first, because this is my path. And what you're doing, it takes courage, it takes inner strength, it takes tenacity, but most of all, it takes a conviction of that passion of what you want to do for other people. That's service.
And that's truly what I want to do. I want to serve others because there's nothing that brings me more joy than serving others.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I have a service to provide. Yes, I charge a fee for that. But when we invest in ourselves
Yes.
in order to get to that state, to level up, we can't do it on our own because of all these programs in our minds that
Mm-hmm.
have been put there unconsciously. And by no means did you want them there. I can guarantee you that. And so we have to take the time and invest in ourselves to grow and to move forward. And I find that some people they say they want, but everything that they do and take action on is saying they don't want, they don't want, they don't want. And so, and this just dropped into my head, would you, the things that you're thinking in your mind, would you say those to someone you love?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I tell people in my own coaching business, mirror talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a conversation with your mirror. Can you really pull the wool over your own eyes? Can you really face yourself without that mirror coming back saying, that's a whole load of BS? Get real, you know?
Yeah.
So mirror talk's very good.
It is very good. And once you decide, and it's not deciding here because this
Mm-mm.
is easy. It's
Easy to
easy.
manipulate. Yes.
Yes, it's so easy. You have to decide here in the heart, and then they have to be speaking together. And that's all the inner work that you need to do, and that looks different for everyone. Coaches, therapists, books, seminars, spending that time, taking the time away from, TV and social media, and instead reading a book or an audiobook that's going to grow your mind.
Or a podcast.
A podcast.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Oh my
TED
gosh.
Talk,
I
all of that.
I listen to podcasts all the time. Use binaural beats, to help you get into a calm state to, you know, move forward, because sometimes you have so much noise in your head. It's
Yes.
so hard to, with homeschooling now and our situation now, it's tough with all these distractions. But I never really knew, Sarah, what this feeling was
Hmm.
until I decided to take the leap of faith. And I just picture that book, Zone. I think it's called Zone of Genius, where the fish tank and the fish is jumping out of the fish tank.
Yeah.
Um,
I actually use that one a lot, jumping into a new bowl
yeah,
on its own. The other one I use a banner of is the blue fish going that way with all the goldfish going that way. You know, it's
absolutely,
okay to change directions,
it
right?
is.
Yeah.
And I'm a Pisces. I've got directions going every which way.
I'm a Libra, and we're always balancing it out.
But the thing is, truly, if something makes your belly burn, if it lights you up when you talk
Yes.
about it, find that and start there.
It takes 3 months. And when you start a new nutritional plan, whether it's
Mhm.
a vitamin, nutrient, whatever, it takes 3 months for the whole cellular structure to change. And so if you have like a 90-day or a 3 month in your mindset, for the next 3 months, all I'm going to do is focus in on that and not buy any of the excuses or the anxiety. When you look back at that 3 months, you're going to go, wow, I didn't get in my way. Look where I am now.
Absolutely. I have so many of my clients, I ask them, what's preventing you from doing this on your own? And they're like, me.
Yeah. Yes.
Me. Almost all of them answer that. Me.
Yes.
I'm getting my own way, but I don't know how to stop it.
Right.
And we're our own worst enemies. And that's the thing where, once you find your true purpose, and maybe you don't have it yet, and that's okay, but please keep looking. Keep
Yeah.
searching.
April will be 9 years that I've been hosting, and it came about in a bizarre way. I was at another crossroads in life, which believe me, I've had a lot of crossroads.
We all have.
Yeah. And it's, I'm a moving forward person, so it's okay. What is this? And I'd written an article on depression, of which clinically I do suffer from, and somebody read the article and looked at my site and said, I think you should be a host on my network. I had never done it before. It was all live. My first show, I pressed all the wrong buttons, planes going over, you name it. I'm a total Monty Python skit. And she said, do you want to continue? I said, yes, it can only get better. Well, over 13 months of being with her, guests dropping, me dropping, internet dropping, people not turning up, you name it. But it was such a good training ground because yes, I was frustrated. Am I making a difference? Is this working? But at the end of that 13 months, I went and started my own because I realized I loved doing what I was doing. What's the why? Why do I love doing what I'm doing? Because you look at the news and you look at everything else, and humanity, we should just press the delete button on it.
Yep.
But when you get to interview the individual that stepped into that meaningful purpose, that through life experiences now bringing those skills and tools to help others, and their passion and their conviction is to help somebody else on their journey of life, you realize how wonderful we are as a human race. And
Mm-hmm.
that for me then became a complete immersement in what I do. And now, as I said, coming up to 9 years, other than being a mother, it's the only thing I've really stuck to. And it's not a moneymaker by, by no means, but it's a passion and an enrichment and abundant maker. And I will continue to do it for as long as I can. And that's the thing. Don't go in it. Am I going to get rich? Am I
Mm-hmm.
going to do this? Am I going to have fame and fortune? Am I going to have that? No. If you aren't coming from the heart and soul, you're not coming from the right place.
Yeah, and that's the thing, what I notice, it's funny you bring that up because I've been involved on and off with like network marketing, online marketing
Mhm.
for over 2 decades, and I understood the whole like passive income, residual income, but everything I tried, and I'm still with a company. I'm not doing anything right now, but I do get still a paycheck every month. So why would I leave, right?
Right.
And love their products. So, but I realized looking around at women and men and in this industry that they all want the same thing. They all want freedom lifestyle, time freedom to do the things that bring them joy. And that's when I really realized, I was like, I have something that can help them.
Hmm.
I want to see people make more money. I want to see mamas be able to stay home with their kids or
Yes.
or travel the world or whatever they want to do and not have to go to a job that they absolutely is sucking their soul, because I know exactly what
Hmm.
that feels like. And so that's what drives me, because I've been involved and I've seen that industry, and I've heard all the stories,
Yeah.
and and it's just like, I know that I can make a difference here and serve others in a way that they might not be getting elsewhere, and I'm going to do this. And that's what I basically was like, yes, these are the group of people that I want to help, because they it's helped me move forward. Why couldn't it help someone else? But it's from a service heart place.
I think once we realize that we are here as a human race to learn, to discover our instrument, to learn how to play it well and bring it to the orchestra of
Mm.
life, right? And it is about stepping into that orchestra and playing in a resonance that lifts people up, that guides people forward, but becomes that positive energy for them. But it's not about, well, what are they going to do for me? Pointing the
Mm-hmm.
finger at government,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, etc. There's three pointing back at you. What are you going to do for yourself? And so many people, yes, I want to, but I just don't know what or how. Well, what's your why? What would you like to do that would make you feel good? It doesn't have to be, what career, but
Mm-hmm.
what would make you feel good? And when you can answer that, that's your why. I want to help people achieve this. I want to help people achieve that, right? Have their own light bulb go off, their own direction in front of them. That's your why. Now, how? And when you reach that how, that's when sometimes you just don't know which instrument is best for you. That's when you turn to someone like you
Mm-hmm.
who can help them discover what is your instrument and how to use it. You've already discovered your why,
Mm-hmm.
but now the how. And the how we have a difficulty with because we think it rather than feel it. And life is about feeling the knowledge, not thinking the knowledge.
And that's so true. I mean, our subconscious mind is 95% of how we live our lives.
Hmm.
And we already know the answers. We
Yes.
truly do already have all our answers, but it's all the noise
Hmm.
and all the lies and all the experiences that we've lived up until this day that clouds and fogs and has the static around them that we can't hear, we can't see. We're totally blind to
Yes.
it. So once you can move that stuff away in a gentle, non-invasive way, and quickly, it's like, oh my gosh, I had a client yesterday and he's in the middle of our session, and I do all my work like this on Zoom, and we were at a point in our session and I just I had chills, and I said that to him. I'm like, oh, that just gave me chills. And he smiled. He's in hypnosis. And so I was sending him a follow-up message to send him. I taught him how to do self-hypnosis for himself. And he sent me a little message and he said, when you said you felt shivers down your body, he said, in that moment, I was looking through my daughter's eyes back at me.
Mm.
And that hit me, like almost fell off my chair.
Yeah.
I was like, and he said, I needed that. Because he needed to find his why he needs to do his business, and seeing himself, what his daughter was seeing through her eyes. It was just like, and I was just like, and I said to my boyfriend, I just said, this is why.
Yeah.
This is why. This is why I continue to do this, and I will never stop.
Right.
Because of these messages.
Yes.
If I can impact one person's life in my lifetime, I've been of service.
Right. Now, if we all took that attitude, we'd all be in better service of each other. Right? We get conned in by social media. How many followers? How many this? How much money are you making? Where are you on the status thing? It's got nothing to do with that. That is an earthly insecure condition. Right? The more followers that you need, the more likes that you need, the more people praising you. That is because you're feeling insecure in yourself. So it is a human condition. When you actually ignite the heart and soul and you live from that beingness, your cosmic self, then you will know that it is the energy that you are sending out that's connecting with other people and igniting them into a higher level. And it doesn't matter if that person ever acknowledges that you did it. It's just knowing that you have propelled that person forward. That is worth 10,000 likes as far as I'm concerned.
100%. And so many people are stuck in the caring too much about other people's opinions. And that is a big mindset block. Why many people will never move forward in their life the way they want to is because they care too much about what other people think of them instead of how much they care about themselves.
Yeah, they're so busy letting other people pass judgment on them, and they're living from that judgment rather than making a judgment call for themselves.
And stepping into their power, stepping into their truth, speaking their voice, even if it shakes, speaking your truth, even if your voice shakes. I've had many opportunities in my dental career where I have come face to face and with the dentist, and I said, I'm sorry, your standards of ethics and mine do not mix. And let me tell you, my voice was shaking like crazy, but it needed to be said. It needed to be said, because if I didn't say that, I would have that negative energy just building up inside me. And then regrets, right? Why didn't I say that?
But it's not just regrets. It's something happens to someone else down the road and you go, I should have spoken up. Now you feel guilt. Well, why do you want to lay yourself open to anything else coming in, right? So
absolutely.
It is important that there's ways of saying things, obviously, right? You don't have to be accusatory, but you can say, I have observed, or this makes me feel, because then you're taking ownership of what you're seeing and what you're feeling. And very often the other people are not seeing it the same way. And you sharing your perspective because, oh, I hadn't noticed that. Right? So everybody's waiting for the axe, the judgment, or the nuclear bomb to go off. And just sometimes they just simply haven't seen it from your point of view. Now you've given that invitation to change. So it doesn't have to be the machete or the machine gun. It can be just a nudge, nudge, you know?
Absolutely. And the thing is, as long as you are living in your truth,
Yes.
you'll have joy,
Yeah.
you'll have happiness, you'll
Mm,
have love, and you'll have an abundance in all areas if you're living in your truth. But if you're trying to be someone else or because of, all the stuff that's out there, you're never going to feel right. Something is in your gut going to tell you that it's not right. And that's what for me was that aha moment
mm,
when I handed in that resignation letter. Let me tell you, in my gut, I just knew this was it. There was no, Dawn, should you do this?
hmm.
No, it was an absolute, I knew deep in my gut this was what I was supposed to do. And on the first day of my new life, I was just like, I was like a free bird. I just
Yeah.
could not believe how I felt. And I was like, oh, I should have done this sooner.
Yeah, I know. That is actually, I mean, I was a people pleaser all my life for a good 55 years. And then it was, I'm bending myself into a pretzel. I'm unhappy with who I am. Nobody sees me for who I am because I'm trying to be the chameleon as to what they want.
Mm,
Whom am I serving? Not them, because I'm not giving them my truth, and certainly not me, because I'm not being honest with myself. Right? So that honesty of self, that authenticity of self, not only do you owe it to you, but you owe it to the people that you interact with. Other than that, you are giving them a fake perspective of you. So, oh, I want them to like me, or I want them, to love me. And so I'm going to do this and do that. And it's like, what are they loving? What are they liking? It's not you, because it's not you you're giving.
absolutely. And if you're trying to be someone else,
Yeah.
you're making your life so much harder, so much
Yes.
harder. It's everything is harder,
It's
and people see
emptiness.
through.
It's
But
emptiness.
and people see it, people
Yes.
know. And then when you start stepping into your true authentic rock star self, people see that and go, whoa, this is who you are, you've been hiding.
Yes.
And it's funny, I hired a coach to get over kind of my fear of just being myself, because on camera I was kind of nervous about being myself. And I had to have all this makeup on and do my hair and look a certain way in order to do a Facebook Live or whatever. And she, in her coaching way she made me realize that it doesn't matter if my hair is messy on top of my head, if I, look like I just got out of bed, if I have makeup on or not, I still have the same message, and
Mm,
my people will get my message. And and that's what was stopping me. I was like, oh, I can't do that because, oh, I don't want to do my makeup, or I don't
right.
want to do my hair. But once I got through to myself and said, Dawn, you could just do a Facebook Live right now. Doesn't matter. You don't have to
Right.
think about it, and
Well,
just be
it's presenting
myself.
your real face. That's the thing. I've always worn makeup.
Yeah.
That is not just my generation, my canvas. This is the way I always present myself. But that's how people know me. This is Sarah. If you are not a person that normally wears makeup, suddenly for you to wear makeup, what we're seeing is the makeup and not you,
Yeah.
right? So yes, be groomed, be tidy. That's just
Mhm.
respectful, right? But be yourself. Because I did 5 years of just audio, and then somebody taught me into doing the video shows as well. And my first comment was, well, who wants to see this old broad on video? And then my own voice at the back of my head said, really?
Yeah.
It's not
Really?
about the face, it's about the content. And if people can't get beyond the face, they're not ready for the content. And
Absolutely.
so I had to reprimand myself there. And it's like with anything in life. You don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. I will not be offended. If I'm
Mhm.
not your cup of tea, that's fine. I'm a good strong cup of black coffee.
Yeah.
It's there's all different preferences. And if I'm not the right person for you, that's all right. I'm going to attract the people that are in my vibrational bubble,
Mhm.
right? My orchestra. the people that are in my vibe. And we are going to embrace each other's vibe and crescendo, make some great music. But you can't do that with people who are on different vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. They're going to go with their vibe, people. And that's all right. You are not one size fits all. So don't try and go after other clients that you know other people do if they're not your kind of client. You be true to you, and you will find the clientele that will be true with you.
Absolutely. I love that because, and that's one thing I learned when I went back to school with hypnotherapy is, our instructor said, some of the clients that are going to come to you are not going to be a fit. And it's important
Yes.
for you not to work with them and to refer them out to someone else
Yes.
that would be more suitable, because your work with them won't be true and it will be like work, which you
Yes.
you, you don't want. And so, you know we all have had people come into our careers, our profession of service, and I've said, I'm sorry, I'm just not the right fit for you. Here's a few names for you to look into. I wish you all the best. But I would, if I took that client on, I'd be doing a disservice for myself and for them.
Yes.
I want them to get the best service ever. And that's about learning yourself and your boundaries. And this is all about inner work, increasing your vibration, knowing who you are, what you stand for, who you're doing this for, what your why is, all these things. And once you tap into your power and remove all the noise,
Mm,
the noise still comes up, it does, right, Sarah? Like, it still comes
yes.
up. But the more you deal with the noise and you learn how to deal with the noise and you dig deep, then when the noise comes up, you're just like, oh, there's a noise, oh, see you later. Oh, there's a noise again,
You
oh,
you
see you
become
later.
you become the sound engineer, and you know how to tune it
Oh,
out.
yeah, that's right. The radio. That's what Abraham talks about, right? She talks about, you don't have to listen to 97.5.
Right. Change channels.
You can turn it to 101.3.
Exactly.
You don't have to stay where you're at. You
It's
have the
why do you
power.
have to, I don't like this music, I don't like this, I don't like to change channels. Nobody's asking you to watch, listen, or be a
Mm,
part of that. If it upsets you so much, change channels, go somewhere else, mix with different people,
yeah.
right? It's don't, if you are there moaning, groaning, and angry, it's because you want to be angry.
You choose. You
You
choose
choose to
that.
be angry. If you don't like that feeling, and kinesthetic people don't, you will go somewhere else because you just don't like that vibe whatsoever.
Hmm.
I have a show coming on next week with wonderful lady Nadine, and she's a personality. I'm a True Colors coach, but she has formed her own after 25 years, and it's the kinesthetic, the cognitive, the communicative, and what was the other one? I think the heart. But it is where we're at, and our
Yes.
personality traits. And I think one of the things I say to everybody in life, take time to know who you are. And that doesn't mean just your why, your passion, but we've got to understand, as human beings, we are made up genetically by ancestral DNA, by past life DNA, and
Hmm.
we're made up in a perspective of the way we're wired and put together, of what comes first. I'm a very kinesthetic person, very empathic, very touchy feely in everything in life. The energy and vibration is really important to me. I'm never going to change that.
Hmm.
And for somebody earthly to say, oh, you're too sensitive. No.
I've heard that so
Yeah,
much.
right. So yes, you're a sensitive. You are sensitive and centrally tuned in to everything in life. So it's important that you put yourselves in arenas where the harmony of that music is going to be more conducive to your
Mm,
equilibrium, because now you can use that energy more productively. If you put it into an arena where it's literally like, nails across the record, that is doing you damage on your psyche, on your spiritual psyche. So know yourself is really, really important, because then you know which is your best foot forward,
mhm,
right? What foot you need to avoid altogether, and really what is your truth. right? Your truth. What's your truth? How do you know your purpose before you know your truth? Before you know your why, right? It's know who you are, embrace who you are, love who you are. That doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement, but
Mhm.
that means you're stopped beating yourself up. As human beings, we like to do that.
Yeah, and but the thing is, the more you grow, the more you do that work, you slow that down, you stop.
Yes,
You don't get out of line as much
right.
off
And
off
you
your
know how to get back
off your
into
path,
line.
and you
Yes.
know
Yeah.
quickly, and you're like, "Oh, here I go again. What do I need to do? Oh, okay, I need to do this." "Oh, I'm back on track again."
Yeah.
You can stay on that wheel as long as you want. And when you decide to take yourself off, you can go in another direction. We all have that
It's just
choice.
turn around. What's the
Yeah.
song? Turn around. You know, is, why are you standing there with the machine gun facing you? Turn around, go somewhere else. It's, you were in a business that you hated. And
Hmm.
it was, oh, security. Oh, I've got a good job. But, should I do is it being irresponsible? Until eventually your heart and soul said, for God's sake, move.
I know. And so many people, I had some people that said, "Are you sure this is the
Yeah.
right thing? Are you sure? Like, are you set up to, not have income come in for 3 months?" And I'm
Hmm.
like, "How does this affect you exactly?
Hmm.
How does this affect you?
Yeah.
This is
Thank you
what,
for your concern, but
yeah, this is what I'm going to do. This is what is my true purpose, and I'm being my authentic self, and it has nothing to do with you." And I had some to remind some people is, "Do you want me to be happy?"
hmm,
"Yes, I do want you to be happy." "Okay, then. This is what makes me happy. This is
right.
what brings me joy. This is what makes me spring out of bed in the morning, even if it's at 7 a.m., because I'm talking to somebody on the other side of the world.
Hmm.
you know, is This is because I love what I do, and I didn't have that before. And COVID happening, there's a lot of blessings, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yes.
in COVID, and it
Yes.
made me realize, and I know I'm not the only one,
Hmm.
how fragile life is,
Yeah.
how short life is, and what we truly need and what we really probably don't need. And it was a big eye opener for me, and I'm grateful. I'm very, empathetic to everyone who didn't make it so far and who might not make it. And it's awful, but I choose to look at the positives, because that's what's important, is looking at the positives, because it's the positives that keep my vibration high.
Yeah.
What can I do to serve others, to help them? So many people are working online from home now.
Yeah.
How can I serve them? Because they're realizing that, oh my gosh, in dentistry, I just got an email this morning about all more changes in dentistry with
Mhm.
COVID. And I literally looked at it quickly and I was like, thank goodness I'm not
Not me.
there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so try, not try, look at the positives, find a way to look at the positives, and reword your language, and that will help change your vibration, the conscious language you're using. And the more you start being aware of the language you're using, I think it helps you get on your right path, because once your vibration is lifting, as you're increasing yourself, and then more of the good that you want comes in, and you stop focusing as much on that stuff that you don't want.
And that, what you feed will grow,
Yeah.
and in kind of way, you look at any Armageddon movie or, Armageddon type history, where there are many losses, there is always a massive shift of change. There's
Hmm.
always the itinerary that's going on, the battle for the rights, for the human rights. And then there are those that come out of it, having, become the leaders, become the the people that have risen up and led people down a more positive path. COVID is that. Yes, there's been far too many deaths around the world. And the sad thing is those that refuse to look at it as something that really is deadly. But if you look at your Armageddon movies, there's always the baddies that, are going to be against or just want to take advantage of something. And the people that are wanting to save as many people as possible, and the people realizing in order to do that, we have to change direction altogether. So everybody has a role to play in this COVID drama that we're in. And it was an invitation for humanity to change. Because if we don't, Mama Nature is going to press the delete button, right? And vibrationally, as a human race, we had got so angry and so negative that we are literally cracking up the earth.
Hmm.
Scientists will tell you that because the vibration is just literally causing like this. We needed to raise our frequency, raise our vibration, do what we love, come from a place of heart, kindness and caring and love,
Hmm.
meaningful purpose. Because in that higher vibration, we take the pressure off the earth. We learn to look at each other and value each other for who we are. Hasn't COVID done that? The janitor, the frontline workers, the grocery workers, the truck
Absolutely.
drivers, they've become our heroes, not the CEOs,
Yep.
right? And what it's done is brought a balance about, but it brought about it through destruction because unfortunately human beings only know how to change when they're facing destruction.
Hmm.
So you don't
Hmm.
have to have a war in your life to change. You can have a discomfort and you can certainly disrupt it, but don't wait for Armageddon.
Absolutely. If something's not feeling right and you're miserable, like dive into that as soon as you can and
Mhm.
deal with it, because we only have so much time here,
Yes.
and the longer you stay in that place where you're unhappy, unfulfilled, not living your purpose, whatever that is, you're just basically throwing away time.
You're not serving you and you're not serving
No.
anyone else, right? You're of being no service. You're just, the important thing for us to know as human beings is what is our contribution?
Hmm.
Because we're all here to contribute. Every single one of us, whatever scale, right? Some people are meant to do that and it's massive and has a huge impact. Some people are just doing that and nobody notices, but without them, we would notice.
Yes.
So don't measure yourself against somebody else. Well, that person's doing this and I have to reach those heights and I can't do that. No, it is what can you do that you love doing that is meaningful to you. And I don't care if it's the triangle in the orchestra or the soloist. It's all
Absolutely.
important.
And we all are important. We all have our
Yeah.
gifts to share.
Yes.
And it the challenge is finding the gifts, but when you find those gifts, when you find that, and that's my advice, or is just that, run with it and do everything you can to follow your dreams. And if it brings you joy, keep doing that. If it doesn't bring you joy, find a way to not spend as much time doing that, and
And
serve others.
it's not about, oh, I've changed direction and now this is perfect. I mean, look what you did. You went back home and you
Mhm.
came back to the same
Mhm.
business, but you did kind of dabbled in the hypnotherapy. Oh, I really like this, but did you
Yep.
think about doing it as a business? It's one step in front of the other, and sometimes it's a cha-cha-cha. Not every direction is going to hit you straight off, but it's what you learn in that you can take down the next path and the next path. And it's being willing to take that journey and all the knowledge that you're gathering along the way. And
Mhm.
suddenly you arrive in an arena where you go, ah, yeah, I can actually lay down some roots here and really step up now and do my thing.
Absolutely. It just, when you were sharing that, Sarah, I pictured the iceberg. Have you seen the iceberg photo with
Yes,
the tip of the iceberg at the top and
yes,
all the iceberg underneath? And
yes.
all the iceberg underneath is what we have to go through in order to for that iceberg to form at the top. And it's not a straight path, and
No,
it's multi dimensional. And you're talking a little bit earlier about, the way we are today has been affected by, inherited, past life, all these different experiences and emotions. And we didn't even know. We
No.
don't, but the world are waking, there's more and more people waking up to this and going, oh, that's why
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know, and it's interesting. I did some work with a practitioner and I discovered some trapped emotions that I had. And I was like blown away. I'm like, I had no idea I had all that.
Yes.
How would I know? Oh, but that's related to this. I'm like, oh, and you know what I mean? So it's just, it's so interesting. Everything has a way of connecting
Yeah.
always.
And
Oh,
that's why we need, you are a different instrument in the orchestra.
mm-hmm.
The orchestra in its symphony is working under the same harmony, right? It's about being harmonious with each other so you can create the best music. But just because you've joined the orchestra doesn't mean you know every piece yet. Right. And your
Yeah.
life is every piece is going to open up something more in you and more in you and more in you. And sometimes it's going to be a difficult piece and you go, gosh, how can I learn this? And then when you do, you go, oh, that was a wonderful depth that I didn't even know was there. So just because you found something you love to do, you don't just sit there, you continue to absorb and learn and dive into it and
Mm-hmm.
experience and share that experience out even more.
Because that's just the beginning. Once you
Yes.
find what you want, that's just the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it all unravels from there, and yeah.
How do you use the hypnosis for people in business? Is it to remove the blocks? Is it to show what's in their way?
Good question. So with the hypnosis, like I said earlier, we have all our subconscious mind is 95% of what we do. And so we have all these limiting beliefs, habits, behaviors that have all been, from past lives, from soul transfer, from family members, whatever it is, experiences when you were a little child. So in business, most of the reasons why, and I was doing some research around this the other day, what are the biggest blocks that business people, online marketers, entrepreneurs have? In the top three is always mindset. It's
Hmm.
mindset. And so those fear of failure, fear of rejection, unworthiness, imposter syndrome, can't focus, procrastination, lack of clarity, direction. And so I help entrepreneurs through advanced hypnosis techniques where they don't have to go through any past trauma or experience. And not all hypnotherapists do this. There's only two of us in Calgary that do that out of 1.3 million people. So to allow them to discover for themselves what was holding them back,
Yeah.
and they might not know consciously, and that's okay. So we're removing anything that's not for their highest good.
Hmm.
And specifically, my clients go into their session with the intention of, it could be trust issues. It could be, why am I procrastinating?
Hmm.
Why, why do I care so much about other people's opinions? And they're
Hmm.
going in with the session with that intention. And that's specifically what we work on in our session, removing anything and all that's not serving them at mind, body, soul level, past experiences, interdimensional, everything, like
Hmm.
universe. And bring that all into unity again and balance. And and then it's usually, most of my clients only need a few sessions for one issue, like maybe 2 to 3. It really depends. And it allows them to no longer care. Like for me, like I used to personally, I just did not like the feeling of someone saying no to me all the time. And in network marketing, online marketing, let me
Oh.
tell you, you
Mhm.
hear it a lot.
Yes.
And it really bothered me. And I really took it personally. No
Hmm.
matter how much somebody told me not to take it personally, I still took it personally. So I decided to do some work on that, because I'm like, why do I care so much about what other people say?
Right.
I don't know why. And I did some work on that. And so now, do I still hear no's in my life? Absolutely. It doesn't bother me at all. I am 100% focused, laser focused, and something that used to get me off my track for days no longer affects me whatsoever.
Right.
And so, it's really interesting because once you get rid of those mindset blocks, those limiting beliefs, fear, failure, those lies that you keep listening to,
Yeah.
why would anybody believe me? I've
Right.
just started this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. Why would anybody want to, buy my product or service or whatever it is? You know, those are just lies you keep telling yourself. And so I basically am your tour guide, and I help you find your answers and remove them completely. Whereas, we, someone might go, I'm going to do talk therapy to remove the anxiety around social,
Interaction.
social interactions. Um, but talk therapy doesn't get to the root cause, and that's what hypnotherapy, it's very different. Hypnotherapy is very effective because it gets to the root cause. Like, I use the dandelion technique with, I tell my clients, so this pen is a dandelion, and so if we're doing like a type of talk therapy, anything like that, what we do is we have our dandelion, and we don't like our dandelion because it's a weed and it's ugly, right? It's, nobody likes dandelions. So you take your lawnmower and you plow it over and you remove the top of the weed and it's gone. Well, what happens to the dandelion in a few days or weeks? It grows again, the same, on the
Mm.
same spot. And so that'll keep happening because you're just dealing with a superficial,
Band-aiding it.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
band-aiding it. Exactly. So what I do with hypnosis and hypnotherapy is we get to the root cause. So we dig our digger, I call it
Mm.
my digger, underneath the dandelion root and all the way to the roots, all the roots, we remove it. So it never comes back. That same dandelion will never grow back again.
Like a root canal.
Exactly like a root canal. I don't want to do any dental references though, but exactly like a root canal. So, and that's what it is. Once it's gone forever. We're never dealing with that same issue again. So that's what I love is like, let's do the work. Let's do it fast because I don't want to see you again unless it's for a different issue,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know?
My
Yeah.
youngest daughter, when she was little, she was an incredibly confident child from the moment she came out, still is. And but when it came to night and sleeping, she could not sleep alone or in the dark.
Oh,
She would end up
interesting.
come crawling into my bed crying, just really. And so I took her to a hypnotherapist and they put her out. I was there witnessing it. And it took her into two or three past lives where she'd been abandoned, especially at night,
Yes.
right? And when she could see, I mean, she was only 4 or 5, when she could see that it wasn't her and that she's safe at home, she's not going to be abandoned, that her confidence completely changed. She would sleep in her room with a light on, but wouldn't kind of keep coming into my room. And
Oh.
eventually the light went off and she was perfectly all right because she understood, she saw those little girls and she
Mm-hmm.
saw the abandonment and she knew that wasn't her now, so she could let that go. And
Absolutely.
even at that young age, um it's really important. I mean, I've had some past life regressionists get
Mm-hmm.
rid of a few things, and I had 172 lifetimes removed from me, which was
Mm.
a brick block in front of me that no matter what I did, couldn't go through it, couldn't go over it, couldn't go under it, couldn't do anything. It was like a constant hand pushing me back. And after she had finished me, that wall came crumbling down. But it left a big question mark. I'm not those experiences or those fears
What am
anymore.
I?
Who am I?
Who
So
am
then
I?
came the exploration, right? Of
Mm.
who is Sarah now without all of that? And that's exciting because that self-discovery of who we are now without the burden of
Yeah.
all our fears and conditions and expectations is exciting. You can give birth to yourself.
It's so amazing. And it's interesting. I've done many past life regressions for clients. I have yet to be able to go into a past life regression myself, and I was told that I wasn't ready at the time. So
Yeah.
you can't go into a past life regression until you're ready for that experience. And so coming up next weekend, I'm taking an advanced hypnotherapy training course with the technique that I use for past life regression that is non-traumatic, because sometimes you can go into some past lives that can be a little bit, it can kind of revel up some stuff.
Yeah.
And not
50 years
everybody,
of torture. Yes.
yeah,
50
yeah,
lifetimes of torture, rather.
yeah, I could tell you stories about some of the past life
Yeah.
regressions I've done, and the stuff you hear is like, whoa,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know. But being able to leave that stuff behind, because those past lives are with us right now, unless you deal with it,
Right.
unless
Yeah.
you, and whether you believe in past life or not, obviously you're not going to do a past life regression if you don't believe in it.
Right.
But it's incredible what I just have seen my clients, and then they come out of their hypnosis and they go, and they so many revelations
Yes.
after, during that experience, and they, because they're aware of everything that's going on in hypnosis, and they're like, oh my gosh, that relates to this and this
Yeah.
and this, wow. And it just ties everything together,
Yes.
and it,
And
and
the thing is, like, I had somebody then afterwards was doing cellular cleansing and
mm-hmm.
found so many lifetimes of vow of poverty and so many lifetimes of literally being tortured. Because I've
Yes.
always been a spiritual being from the beginning of me
Mm-hmm.
coming here. So I was always doing the same thing, but getting, just depend what era, we're getting punished for it. And although I can look at that and know that that went on, I can see it for what it is. I'm no longer governed by it.
Mm,
So it's not erasing your DNA, your
no, not
history.
at all.
It is
Mm-hmm.
taking the power it has over you now
Out,
out
gone.
of the
Yeah.
equation. Yes.
It no longer has power over
Yeah.
you. Like, I had a lady, ask me yesterday, well, I had a lot of trauma in my life, but I don't want to forget it. Are you going to remove my memories? And I
Mhm.
was like, no, I'm not going to remove your memories, not at
A
all.
Gandalf thing. We're not
they're
going to have
just
a
they're not
Dumbledore.
going to have power over you anymore. Right now,
Right.
your past trauma has power over you, and
Yes.
that's why your feet are in cement blocks and you
Yeah.
feel like you're stuck and not going anywhere. And until you deal with that, it's going to stay the same.
Yeah.
You have to deal with our stuff, and unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, you got to do it. It's going to be uncomfortable. um, but it doesn't have to be as uncomfortable as what you make it out to be in your
Right.
head,
It's so
right?
liberating.
Oh my
It is
gosh.
so liberating. It's like taking off a weight, iron weighted coat that you didn't even know you had on. And then
Yeah.
suddenly that coat is off and you go, oh my God, I have shoulders. You know, my body feels so light. I'm no longer bound to that fear or bound to
Mm-hmm.
that conditioning or control. And it's such a liberating thing because now you're a blank canvas. Yes, things that have happened to you ancestrally and past life are still going to govern a great deal of the way you conduct your life because that's part of what's
Mm-hmm.
made you up. But you're not going to do it from the fear factor. You're going to do it from all the wisdom that you've gathered. And you're going to ignite that wisdom and tap into that wisdom, and that's going to guide you forward. That wisdom couldn't come through before because there was this blockage of this fear or this conditioning
Mm-hmm.
and the mindset that was there. Get rid of that. All of a sudden, your soul can talk to your heart and to your spirit and to your mind. And oh, hallelujah.
Absolutely. And I honestly, that made me think of, you know, I wish that, hypnosis and hypnotherapy was done, in school,
Yeah.
as part of a program, because, parents are programming their children with their beliefs, whether they
Ah,
believe it or not,
yes.
and so imagine if we can make the slate as clean as possible in those younger years. So when we're in our adult years, we've already, over time, we've, as those things came up, we just dealt with them instead of waiting until we're in our 40s and going, holy crap, I have a lot of stuff we need to deal with. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
how
yeah.
amazing would that be, like, to
And
be
I
able to do that?
100% agree with you because one of my things is raising our gifted children, and I've got a series coming out, Our Forgotten Children series. It's going to be a
Mm.
book, and I've got a podcast series on that. And one of the shows that's out this week is about accepting each other's differences. color
Mm-hmm.
wise, whether you've got one eye, one arm, one ear, the faith, the this and that. One of the things I can tell you from my years of experience, either in coaching or even doing the show, the amount of people with an injured child inside of them,
Mm-hmm.
that child that felt neglected or abused or just not heard, and that child is still inside looking for
Mm-hmm.
that approval, looking for someone to hear them. And it doesn't matter if it's in a 40, 50, 60, 70-year old, it needs to be heard. So it's not just about the young child, it's about the child within. And if we can grab them when they're young and give them, one of the things she does, she's an educator, she has on the board, you go in and you pick up, I feel sad today, or I feel angry, I feel this. And she knows what state of frame of mind they're in, and she can address it accordingly. And then through
Yeah.
the day, as they change, they can change around to how they feel. We're giving them permission to feel. What
Mm-hmm.
has the past been? No, 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 no. Keep your feelings to yourself. Nobody wants to hear about your dirty laundry, right? So that's would be fantastic to have in the schools, but not just for the kids, but for the teachers too,
Oh, 100%, you know,
and parents,
everything.
grandparents.
And that's the thing. It's just like what we know. And my friend always said, are you sure you want to know this? Because once you know this, you can't unknow
Right.
this. And I'm like, and I've always been like, yeah, no, I want to know. And there's some things I'm like, because I'm super sensitive, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to look at that anymore. It doesn't serve me. But you know, we need to know, like, as soon as possible, how we can help ourselves have the best life
Exactly.
possible. And that's what I want to help people so they don't have to go through what I went through. Like, if I can help you with your mindset now, I don't want you to be torturing yourself in your business and in your life and your relationships, your family life, partners, all that stuff, if you don't have to. Like, let's just deal with it now so you don't have to keep continuing to bring it on, like month after month after year, right? Just do it. So it's just one of those things. Sorry, I'm ringing. Forgot to turn that off.
One of the things I think that is important in anybody that wants to branch out as their own entrepreneur, their, solopreneur, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
walking away from quote, quote, a security into something new adventure. And, it could even be somebody leaving a marriage, leaving, a country, leaving something else,
Anything,
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 right?
anything.
It's an ending with a new beginning. And in business, there's preparation that you do to open up a business. But shouldn't there be
Mm-hmm.
preparation on ourselves before we even look to going into business? How many people have gone into a particular business? Oh, it's what everybody's looking for. It's absolutely great. Da, 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 da. I mean, multi-level networking is very much that kind of thing.
Yes.
You will make money. It's great. You're going to love it. Da, 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 da. And you get into it and you go, oh, I don't know if I love it. If you know who you are, if you've removed all those barriers, if
Mm-hmm.
you've really ignited that passion and you're coming from the heart, you're going to start any business from the right place. And your
Absolutely.
success will be literally one step up the ladder at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be sure footed, right? So it's important if you know you've got a blockage. I really would love to go out on my own. I know I could be a success of it, but I don't know what's holding me back. Come to Dawn. She can
Yeah.
open up what is that's holding you back. You may not even know what it is. You maybe have to ask the psyche, what's holding me back?
Mm-hmm.
And it will be revealed. And once you see it, oh, okay, well, you ain't got no power over me because you can identify it
Absolutely.
and you can let it go.
How
It's not
empowering.
knowing that's fearful, right? Once we know, there is no fear attached to it anymore.
Absolutely. And that's with anything. And the way you're going to succeed at your business is taking care of yourself first. And so
Yes.
you can be a better leader, you can be a better partner, you can be a better parent, all these things. Because when you run your own business, whether it's a solopreneur or, starting a franchise or whatever that looks like as an entrepreneur, let me tell you, you got to do some work for yourself. So, because being an entrepreneur, there's a reason why everybody doesn't do it,
Right.
because it's easier to clock in and clock out,
Yeah.
right?
somebody else's responsibility. I just put the
Mm-hmm.
hours in.
I just
When you're
come,
an
yeah.
entrepreneur, you are the hours. You're the clock. You're everything. You're wearing all the hats,
Yeah, and in the
right?
beginning when you're first starting, you're wearing all the
Yeah,
hats. You don't have the money to invest in
right.
having help and that type of thing. So, the sooner you get
Rid of the
right
blockages. Yeah,
and rid of the blockages that you don't even know you have, you just know, I don't know what is going on, but I'm stuck. When you get rid of those, that's when the relief comes. That's when you start going downstream again, and yeah, everything is going, and there'll be some rocks that are thrown your way,
right.
and you'll be stronger and more resilient to deal with them.
And you know, it's not being afraid to actually step on every spoke of the ladder. It's not about
Mm,
leaping up to the front, leading up to the top. There's a reason why one foot in front of the other, because with every foot you learn something about
absolutely.
yourself, about the situation, about what you're here to teach. You learn something. If you try and jump to the top, you're missing a huge part of your
Mm-hmm.
development. And when I started off with my own network, it wasn't that pretty. It's I was literally fumbling in the dark. And then as I went, well, that would look better. That would be better. That would be better. And you evolve because you become
Evolve,
aware,
yes.
right? So don't look for everything to be perfect. Everything's got to be in place. I've got to have all the numbers. I've got to have all of that. What is your why? Where's the heart and soul in it? What's blocking you? All right. It's, what you want to take that leap of faith. But it's you've I've got the wrong shoes on to take the leap of faith. We all make all sorts of
I
excuses.
have to have a YouTube channel before I move forward.
Right, yes. And so we will make all the excuses in the world. That's the but. So sit on that but, call dawn, and say, okay, this is my blockage. I can't get any further up the ladder without the help of releasing this blockage.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that goddamn blockage so you can continue on your meaningful purpose, because we need you. That's the reason why you were given that gift in the first place. We need you out there in society doing what you are needing to do. So you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the people that you're here to serve by getting rid of the blockages, stepping into your own beautiful, meaningful purpose, and being of service to people who need you in the world, because that's what we're here to do, be of service to one another.
I have like shivers all down my body right now. We're here to serve others.
We are. The sooner we get that, it's not about myself. It's the cellular structure in the body. There are millions of cells. But one cell starts breaking down, it breaks down the cell next to it and next to it and next to it and next to it and so on. And next thing you know, you have a body breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at ourselves as a cell amongst the cellular structure, and it is imperative that we be plump and juicy and abundant and rich, we are going to enrich the whole body. So we're not just doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for the greater good, and we're doing it to be of service. So get selfish with yourself, because
Yes.
when you're selfish with
Yes.
yourself, you become that plump, juicy cell that's going to keep the body thriving.
I say that to mamas especially, because mamas are the worst
Oh,
in
yeah.
a way, because it's always like, oh, I have to do this for my kids first. I'm like, well, what about taking care of you? Because until you take care of you, you're not going to be there long term for your children, right? So you need to have your own time. So please block out time in your schedule to do what's necessary for you time, self love, self care, that type of thing. So then you can be of service to your partner and your children.
Please listen to that one, because I went down the other road. It's only me suffering, the kids aren't. I will stay until the last kid leaves home, until my kids came to me and said, Mom, time to get a divorce. Right?
Mm.
We're tired of seeing you miserable. I thought I hit it. They know. Don't underestimate your kids. If it's at an end and it can't move anywhere further forward, it's okay to say goodbye and immediately move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We being the sacrificial lamb, which I was brought up by a martyr, being the sacrificial lamb, the only person that's going to get eaten is you.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I think now more people are aware of being selfish.
Yes.
But we need to be keep working on this and keep bringing this to awareness that we really need to be selfish, and that means, if you have to put a do not disturb sign, and
Mm,
unless the house is on fire, that's the only time you disturb me. It's not to, mom, can you get me something, mom, I can't reach this, mom, I need help with my homework, whatever it is, or turn off all your devices, whatever that is, and take that time for you, and have that conversation with your family to say, I need this time. This is my time.
it's the
And unless,
rejuvenation time.
yes, I need to
Mm,
fill up my cup,
yes.
and I keep emptying my cup. Well, there's nothing in it left to
Yes.
give. I need to give. So please, and I think that's so important, especially for women. They need to continuously always fill up their cup. And that doesn't mean once a week or once a month or once a year. It has to be something that we make it a ritual into our daily life. And it could be, going to bed a little bit early and having your time, staying in bed a little bit later, however that fits in your schedule, standing in the shower and locking the door so nobody can come in. I don't know, I don't have kids, but I'm sure it's challenging if you
Oh,
have,
it is.
young children. But
Young or
asking
old.
for, right, asking for help, asking your partner, whoever's there, can somebody help you, with this, and really get selfish with your
Yeah.
needs.
The selfish is self-care. It's not
Hmm.
narcissism.
No, it's
That
not.
is being selfish at the expense of everyone else.
Hmm.
Self-care is rejuvenating your own generators so that you can continue caring for others. But you have to care for yourself first, right?
And I had this, like, it's like our phone, when we see that the red bar is on our phone, what do
Right?
we do?
Charge it
You
up.
plug it in.
Yes.
And heck, will we let that bar get to red? Usually no
No.
way,
Yeah.
no way, right? So don't let the red bar
Right.
come on your body either. Like, you have to keep it green.
And the thing about also hypnotherapy, whether you're in going into business or not, or whether it's just, falling under a change in life, a transition in life, one of the big things, especially for an older generation, is permission.
Oh my gosh.
Permission to be, permission to be enough, permission to explore yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, sometimes that in hypnotherapy, just getting that permission, it can break down a great deal of many barriers.
Absolutely. And hypnotherapy is perfect for anyone, children,
Hmm.
as long as you are breathing oxygen. Hypnotherapy can work for anyone, and giving yourself permission to do what you need, and to have an open mind, because hypnotherapy is not magic. I don't have a magic, wand in my back pocket.
Yes, it's
it's
not
not
voodoo
it's
or
not the
black
devil's
magic. Yeah.
work. It's not the devil's work. We put ourselves in trance every single
Yes.
day, multiple times a day. I'm driving to work and all of a sudden I totally miss my exit. Why? Because I was in a trance. You're scrolling on your phone, you have no idea. Somebody said something to you, you didn't even hear. You're in a trance. You're
Right.
watching TV, you're in a trance. People go into a trance multiple times a day. Hypnosis is no different.
Hmm.
The
You're
work that
just
we do,
targeting.
we're targeting, and we're taking you to a deeper level.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't care who you are. Everybody has multiple levels,
Mm-hmm.
and we have multiple past lives and ancestral genetics in us. And it's knowing who we are, why we're, our why, what we're here to do, but knowing what gets in our way and being willing to do something about it. And you
Mm-hmm.
can go down the whole, let's relive your trauma. And we don't want to do that. You see your trauma, you know what's been done, but what you want to do is remove the emotion that's attached with it.
Absolutely.
And the hypnosis can do that because you're looking at it without having to relive
Emotion.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't want to see my clients be uncomfortable and
Right,
reliving trauma.
right.
And because guess what? That affects me and my
Yes.
energy and my vibration, right? So I'm going to do everything I can so that you don't have to relive those emotions, feelings, fears, anything like that. Do the work that's necessary so that you can be comfortable. It's not invasive, but you can get your results without reliving all this icky,
Yeah.
globby stuff.
It's a very gentle way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
It's really non-evasive. It's very revealing
Mm-hmm.
because, it's like, like your guy the other day, I saw myself in my daughter's eyes. What a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
What a
we always
gift.
want to know is like, how do other people see us? And so that was an extraordinary gift. But going through hypnosis and having these things revealed and then just being able to delete, you see it, but you no longer feel it. It's no longer in your way. You're not just changing the psyche in the mind, you're changing the psyche throughout the whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's really important.
interdimensional
Yes,
everywhere. We know how
ricochets.
we know how easy it is when we're typing on our keyboard. If we misspell something or we just hit delete. That's literally what
Mm,
hypnosis and hypnotherapy does with, gets rid of that past stuff literally by hitting those right buttons. Like, you don't know the buttons to hit. I know how to guide you to
right.
those buttons, and I help you hit those buttons so then it's permanently deleted off the software. It's gone, never to come back.
Yeah, all the pain has gone from
Mm-hmm.
it, right? All the trauma and the angst or, discontent has gone with it. And there are so many people living with the past life, you're not just, in their lifetime, past experience. So, I was neglected or I was abused or nobody loved me growing up. What you're feeling the lost child or you're feeling that, you weren't paid attention to. If you don't get rid of that feeling is going to carry forward in everything you do. So
Everything.
so
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to feel like that anymore. So hypnotize it away. You recognize that's how I felt. I no longer feel like that. So no longer feeling like that, I can put whatever feeling I want in there now because that's my empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And those people, not some people use those feelings and the trauma and that type of thing as a secondary benefit or a secondary gain because they're getting something from being in that state.
Yeah.
And my recommendation is, please do your work on that,
Yeah.
because having those secondary gains and secondary benefits, they're not serving you in any way.
Staying the victim, choosing to be a victim because you like the attention,
Mm-hmm.
it will eat away at your cellular structure and you
Mm-hmm.
will become physically ill because of the dis-ease.
And that's what happens. And that's
Yes.
and so many people don't realize, well, I eat healthy, I
Hmm.
exercise. Well, what's going on in your mind?
Yeah.
Because the the thoughts, and there's been so much study on
Yeah.
this. You look at Dr. Joe Dispenza, so much we can rewire our brains by our thoughts,
Yes.
and it will help. It removes disease.
Yeah.
We've heard these stories before. All you have to do is Google them, people curing themselves of cancer and all this by just their thoughts.
Yes.
So do everything you can to take care of yourself, mind, body, spirit, soul, so you don't have that disease.
Yes. Yes. And, that's, you are your own responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is. We're responsible of our children. We're custodians of our children. And it's to give them the best road possible forward with the best equipment to travel it. But it's their journey, as this is our journey. And if we don't like the path we're on, nobody else is going to change it for us. But somebody can help you change it for yourself. And that's where you come in.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do people get hold of you to
Mm.
book you? And what's your general practice that you do with people?
Yeah. So you can find me at yourlifereinvented.ca. And my specialty is I work with entrepreneurs, online marketers, business I help them remove their feelings of being stuck in their business. I want to help them grow their business, grow their income so that they can achieve what they want to achieve. And money is not a bad thing, guys, because
No.
money gives you choices. You can help more people with more money, you can give more. And so, and you, money gives you choices. And so that's what I do. I get clients from other things as well, like weight loss, in particular. Um, but if you're wondering if I can help you with your issue and it's not business related, please still reach out. And
Hmm.
if it's something that I know that I can't serve you with, I will definitely refer you to one of my colleagues for sure. You can find me on Facebook under Your Life Reinvented Hypno, and on Instagram under the same name. And also, um, I'm on LinkedIn. I think I'm on every platform there is to be on. And I encourage you. I'm coming out. I'm just redesigning my website here and coming out with a hypnosis I'm so excited to offer people on clarity and confidence. And I enjoyed so much making this hypnosis audio to help people find that clarity and that confidence. And I'm looking so forward to chatting with anyone who wants to hop over on the other side of this conversation and see how I can help you.
Yeah. And you might be a very strong person. I'm a very strong-minded person, strong soul, heart, and spirit, a little bit of a force sometimes. But even I know there's areas in my life I can't deal with on my own.
Mhm.
I'm not equipped to deal with them. So I need to go to the people that it's their passion, it's
Mhm.
their conviction, it's their skill, because that's what they've been put here to do, and they're going to help me on my journey of life so that I can continue to do my purpose better. So we're not meant to be, an answer to all ourselves. What you do is help remove the blockages so they can see their own lives in a different way and
Mhm.
rewrite their programming. That's
Rewrite the
very, very important.
story.
Yeah, rewrite that
Rewrite
story.
your story. You have the
Yeah.
pen in your
Yes.
hand. I'm going to help you rewrite your story in a matter of hours.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. And with all that other nonsense out of your way, it lifts off a weight, it gives you a blank canvas, and then clarity steps in.
Mhm.
And then, as you said, that pen goes to work, and if things start pouring in, and you go, oh, why couldn't you do like this before? Well, you put a dam in the way, right? You put bars in the way, you put fear in the way. Having got rid of that, now everything can flow. And that's what life is meant to be about. Everything is in flow. The wind,
Mhm.
the water, the blood, the oxygen in our bodies, everything needs to be in flow. When it's stagnant, that's when it starts causing problems. So get rid of your stagnant problems and let your life flow.
I love it. It's changed my life, and I'm so excited to help change other people's lives with it as well.
Yes. That's what it's all about. So it's Your Life Reinvented.ca, folks, not .com. You can also find her on Facebook, dawn.arsenal. But you also got the Facebook, Your Life Reinvented Hypno. Don't be afraid of hypnosis. It's a wonderful tool. It's been around since the beginning of time.
Mhm.
It has such a brilliant effect. It's not pharmaceutical, which
No.
is great. And, it's not brainwashing, it's actually deleting the
Mhm.
brainwash that's been going on in your life all your life and even ancestral life. It's getting rid of all of that, getting rid of old programming that just simply is in your way. We all need that because sometimes we just simply don't know what. I don't know what's blocking me. I don't know why I can't get through this wall. And you taking them under hypnosis to see the wall. What is that wall? What's the name on that wall? Now let's bash that wall down. Let's say, that's
And
what's
put the
on the other
better
side.
things and put the
Yeah.
better things there.
Yeah. Well, there's the valley. Oh, what a beautiful valley. And it's been behind that
Mhm.
wall all the time, and I never could get to it. So,
Mhm.
you don't know what is going to open up for you until you're willing to take that leap of faith and go, okay, hypno me.
The power of hypnosis is absolutely incredible. And your best version of yourself awaits you.
Hmm.
You can reinvent your life from scratch.
Yes. 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 And you're going to take the best of you forward,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to utilize who you really are. And you're going to be able to shed a light on your beautiful gifts that will serve so many.
Mm-hmm.
So don't wait. Step up. We need you now, right now.
We need you. We need you all to serve in your highest purpose.
Exactly. So reach out to Dawn. I assume that you have a few minute chat you can have with people so that you can
Oh,
find out.
yes, I
Yes.
do. I offer, thank you for reminding me of that, Sarah. I offer a 15-minute strategy call over Zoom. And I will, Sarah, make sure that Sarah has the booking link to schedule your free call. And there's no, no pressure to buy anything or anything. It's a discovery call where we sit and we have a chat on what's going on, and I can see if I can help you or not.
Right. And see if there is an energetic fit, right?
Hmm.
Because that's,
Absolutely.
where it is. Are you in the same vibe? Because that's when you can trust someone, and you can, the better good is there. And that's what it's all about, that discovery. And don't you want to discover yourself, who you really are without those barriers? What you really can do and what you're really meant to achieve without those blockages. Isn't it exciting and willing to explore it? I think so. So get rid of the garbage, take it out, open up your canvas, start painting, because boy, have you got a picture to share.
Hmm. Yeah, love it.
Thanks so much, Dawn. Been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Until next time, folks, remember there is always an answer. And hypnosis is something that's really very simple. As she said, 2 or 3 sessions, you can get rid of that one particular issue. Get on with your life. Go and find that meaningful purpose, because that's what you're here for. So until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many, many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com, and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.